moan. About that time I hung my head and moaned. Ain't none of my business, but it sure ain't right. Ain't none of my business, but it sure ain't right. Take another man's gal, mess around all night. Howdy folks, Bluesboy Jag here, yet another 4-string cigar box guitar lesson. It's No No Blues by the great Curly Weaver. We are tuned to open G. That's your A string tuned down to a G, your D string tuned normal to D, G string tuned normal to G, B string tuned normal to B. So, we are using a slide and we're going to be doing traditional open tune G, which is going to be your 0 chord, no frets at all is your key, that's key of G. We're not going to be using the 4 chord up here. We're going to be using a different shape 4 chord here. And then we're going to be using the 5 chord, which will be your D chord in the key of G. Typical 7th fret bar. So here's the intro. So we're starting out on the 12th fret, doing the octave. There's a couple different ways you can do this. I'm sliding up from, say, 10 or 11 up to 12, and it's a real quick up strum. So I'm going to go up to the 12th fret. Remember, you got to be right on top of the fret. So that's your G chord. Then I'm hitting the low G, and then the high G. So that's your 4th string and your 2nd string. Using my thumb on the 4th string, 1st finger on the 2nd. So what you end up with is, I'm sliding 1 fret up, then I'm going to choke it. So real slow. So you can hear I'm choking that at the end there. It's a little tricky to choke it. I'm choking it with this hand. So it's a low string, low G in the high string, on the high G. Now when I do that part, I'm choking each strum. And I'm sliding up 1 fret, and I'm choking with this hand. So all I'm doing is just muting the strings after each strum. And the movement is all part of the strum. So from the top, low G, high G, slide up, slide up. And that's your intro. Then he starts singing on the 4 chord. Got up this morning, my good gal was gone. So this is your 4 chord, which is your C. It's got a low G on the bass, which sounds really cool. I've been using this chord for years, and a lot of my other lessons have this chord. 1st finger is on the 1st string, 1st fret. 2nd finger is on the 3rd string, 2nd fret. So that is a 7th chord for your C, so it's a C7. So when we start out the song, got up this morning, my good gal was gone. What I'm doing is 2 fingers. 1st finger is on the 1st string, 1st fret. 2nd finger is on the 3rd string, 2nd fret. Got up this morning, my good gal was gone. Pinky's on, what is that? 2, 3. It's hard to do with a slide. Make sure you don't touch the strings with your slide. So, got up this morning, and then you add your pinky. My good gal was gone. Got up this morning, my good gal was gone. About that time I hung my head and moaned. So that's your 5 chord or your D, and I'm borrowing all the way across on the 7th fret. You can also use your slide. So, from the top. Got up this morning, my good gal was gone. Got up this morning, my good gal was gone. fret, hung my head and moaned. Then we start over. So that little trick right there, I'm sliding from 2 to 3 and I'm muting all the strings. So I'm strumming all 4 strings and it's 1 fret. So that begins the verse. Got up this morning, my good gal was gone. Got up this morning, my good gal was gone. Sometimes you put the pinky up on the 2nd string, sometimes you don't. You can, it's up to you, however you want to do that. About that time I hung my head and moaned. So from the top. Got up this morning, my good gal was gone. Got up this morning, my good gal was gone. About that time I hung my head and moaned. Ain't none of my business, but it sure ain't right. Ain't none of my business, but it sure ain't right. Take another man's gal, mess around all night. That's probably the hardest part right there. You slide up from 2 to 3 and you gotta choke each slide. I'm choking with this hand, so real slow. You can also choke with this hand too. You can choke with both actually if you want to, just to make sure it gets choked. So real slow. I like to do an up strum because I come back down and that's where I choke it. So there's definitely a rhythm to that. Obviously I'm sliding up 1 fret here with this hand and this hand is doing the choking, so there's a lot going on. And that's pretty much the whole thing. So from the top. Got up this morning, my good gal was gone. Got up this morning, my good gal was gone. About that time I hung my head and moaned. Ain't none of my business, but it sure ain't right. Ain't none of my business, but it sure ain't right. Take another man's gal, mess around all night. I'm long and tall just like a cannonball. Long and tall just like a cannonball. Take a long tall man, make a good gal squall. So my advice on this one, start out slow. It's kind of a fast song, and then speed up a little bit later. Also, don't forget to use your choking with your 1st and 2nd fingers. So this choking with this strum hand, that's one way to do it. I'm choking with this part of my hand, and the choke is part of the strum, so you're perfectly in time. So basically that's what you're doing. You might want to practice that first. I'm doing an up strum with my 1st finger, and I'm coming down on the mute with the palm of my hand. Now keep in mind you can also do the 4 chord up there on the 5th fret. You don't have to do this one. This one sounds cool because it's got a G on the bass, so make sure you don't touch the big string with your slide. A little bit hard to do. So there's your 4 chord, and there's your other 4 chords. First finger is on 1-1, and your second finger is on 3-2. So have fun with that. Be sure and subscribe. Check out my website, jagshouse.com. Cigar box guitars just like this one since 2004. And tell your friends, and we'll see you next time.